Hi, I'm Evelyn, and welcome back! After exploring Oahu, it was time for the second half of our Hawaii adventure, the Big Island. We stayed in Kona. Even the busiest areas felt surprisingly quiet. After dinner, we took a walk along the waterfront. Huge waves crashed against the shoreline, and sometimes the spray even reached the street. The next morning, we woke up early and headed toward Hawaiʻi Volcanoes National Park. Our first stop was Kilauea Overlook. After a short walk from the parking lot, we arrived at the edge of a huge volcanic crater. Across the crater, we could see steam rising into the air, along with bright yellow patches scattered across the landscape. Next, we walked about 10 minutes to Uēkahuna. The ground beneath our feet was covered with black volcanic rocks that crunched as we walked. The view was similar, but this time we were a little closer to the steaming crater. Then we drove to the steam vents. Steam rose from cracks in the ground. When we stood nearby, we could actually feel the heat. My glasses even fogged up. From there, we followed the trail to Haʻakulamanu sulfur banks. Along the way, we saw even more steam vents. It seemed like wherever the ground cracked open, steam would find a way to escape. The rocks looked as if someone had splashed bright yellow paint across the hillside. Up close, we could even see tiny sulfur crystals growing on the rocks and nearby plants. The whole walk took us about half an hour. We enjoyed it, but if you're short on time, this is one stop you could probably skip. Why? Because next we were heading to our favorite place in the entire park, Nahuku Lava Tube, which many people still know as Thurston Lava Tube. Thousands of years ago, molten lava flowed through this underground tunnel, and today visitors can walk right through it. Stepping inside felt like entering another world. The tunnel was cool, dark, and mysterious. When we looked up, we could see long tree roots hanging down from the ceiling. We loved it so much that we walked through it twice. Next, we stopped at Puʻupuaʻi Overlook. Unlike the active crater we had seen earlier, this older crater is now filled with trees and hiking trails. We could see hikers below us, and to our surprise, a rainbow appeared inside the crater. After that, we drove down Chain of Craters Road. The farther we drove, the darker the landscape became. Huge fields of black lava stretched across both sides of the road. Many areas had signs showing which eruption had created each lava flow. We stopped at several craters along the way. Some were large, some were small, and each one was one of a kind. One of the most fun stops was Puhimau crater. When we shouted across the crater, our voices echoed back to us. And yes, we spotted yet another rainbow. Unfortunately, the weather started getting worse. Rain moved in, and we had to give up our plans for more hiking. Since Chain of Craters Road isn't a through road anyway, we decided to turn around before reaching the end. Instead of taking the same route back to Kona, we continued around the southern side of the island and made our way home along a different coastal route. On the way, we stopped at Punaru'u Black Sand Beach. It's famous for its black sand and the sea turtles that are often seen resting there. We had hoped to see some turtles, but the rain had other plans. Instead, we admired the unusual black sand while standing under our umbrellas. Next, we visited the southernmost point in the United States. Huge waves crashed against the cliffs below us. This place is well known for cliff jumping, but with the rain, strong wind, and rough ocean conditions, nobody was jumping that day. The most impressive feature was the blowhole, where seawater shot upward through openings in the rocks whenever large waves rolled in. Some people even climbed down into the hole. Not me. I stayed safely up above because I was worried about falling in. Standing near the cliffs and watching the waves pound the shoreline was exciting and a little scary. By the end of the day, Dad had spent hours driving around the island. The Big Island is huge! The next morning was our final day in Hawaii. Since our flight home wasn't until the afternoon, we decided to fit in one last snorkeling adventure. This time, we went to Kahaluu Beach Park, one of the most popular snorkeling spots on the Big Island. It felt like a giant aquarium, with fish everywhere. Unfortunately, Mom forgot to bring a waterproof phone case, so we couldn't capture much of what we saw underwater. Before heading to the airport, we made one final stop at Kailua-Kona National Historical Park. Since we hadn't seen any sea turtles at the black sand beach the day before, we were hoping for better luck here. And we got it. Not one, not two, 3 sea turtles. One was resting on the shore, while 2 others were swimming in the water. These turtles were smaller than the ones we had seen on Oahu, but they were much more active and fun to watch. The park also contains ancient Hawaiian fish ponds and fish traps. Soon it was time to head home. Be sure to check out my Oahu video to see the first half of our Hawaii adventure. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more family adventures.